welcome to this week's video. Now this week I'm going to show you how good my two EVH guitars sound through the new UADFX Lion plugin. That's the one that sounds like the Marshall Plexi. Now I haven't had to play a single note on this video to demo this, and I will explain why later. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the first two videos. The first one's on my EVH Frankie, and the video later on in this video is going to be on my EVH Wolfgang. But check out this on the Frankie first. Well, I think you'll agree that's a pretty good guitar sound, and it does sound like Eddie himself in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously it's never going to sound that like him, but considering I've just turned that on and put on a preset, I think it's pretty close. So a bit of background to why I'm doing this video and how I've managed to do it without playing a single note. I am a working guitarist, that's what I do for a job, and although it's January, I've been very busy. I had 4 gigs last week. Was it 4? Yes, 4 gigs last week, plus an all-day rehearsal. This week I've got 5 or 6 gigs, and so trying to fit these videos in sometimes is very tricky. Now I haven't missed a week, apart from when I had COVID quite a long time ago. I haven't missed a single week doing these videos, and I do them because I really enjoy doing them, but sometimes I do struggle to find time. And my previous review of the UADFX wasn't very good because I had a technical problem where I couldn't get rid of the sound of my vocal mic so you could hear the guitar over the top of it, and it was very annoying, but I didn't have time to redo it. I've now worked out how to overcome that technical problem, and I will do another video on these plugins to improve them. But in the meantime I thought, you know what, I really want to see what that brown sound on the new Lion plugin sounds like, and I've managed to do this without playing a single note. And I've done that, and the eagle-eyed amongst you may have spotted that these 2 tracks, or the last track I've shown, the one I'm going to show, are tracks that I've used previously. And because of the way the technology works, I'm able to use the new amp sound over what I played a year ago, and I will show you how I do that on my computer in a minute. As I mentioned in my previous video, I'm really impressed with these UAD plugins. I've got the 3 of them. I bought a bundle before Christmas in the Black Friday sale. I've got the Lion, the Ruby, and the deluxe one. I can't remember what that's called, Dream 65, and they all sound fantastic, and I think the presets on them sound absolutely brilliant. I just switch them on, they sound great. And I've had several people commenting saying they sound great on their own, but they don't sound very good in the mix. Well, that's not what I've found. I haven't used them loads in mixes. I've used them a few times. But this particular one, I will demonstrate this in a minute, I just turned it on, replaced the plugin that I was using before, and it just sat in the mix. And I was like, I actually thought I'd turned on something else. It sat so well in the mix, I thought I'd put on a commercial record or something. It was very peculiar. Anyway, I'm going to go over to the computer now and show you how I did it. This is the Cubase session I got from my original video. This is actually the Wolfgang one, which is the video that you'll see right at the end of this very video. And what this new technology enables me to do is, from my original session, so as you can see, I've duplicated the lead guitar track here. This is my original lead guitar track, which has on, let me show you the way I got the sound on the original video, which I did like. I really thought it was a good sound. It's Guitar Rig 6, and all I did, I loaded up the early Edward Humbucker preset, and I just thought that sounded great. And the way I recorded into this, the reason I've got a DI track on here is because I loaded the standalone version, so I got a good guitar response, but that standalone version doesn't then record into the sequencer. In my previous video, this is one of the things that I was bemoaning, that there's no standalone version of the UAD thing, although, you know, at the moment I've got a new computer, it works without latency, so I can actually record straight in using it. But I wouldn't have had this option to do this by being able to replace the sound later, because I've just committed a DI guitar to track. So basically all I've done is I've plugged in my EVH guitar straight into my UAD interface, and I've just whacked this preset on top of it to get that Van Halen sound. There's not really any magic there, I should have made it sound like I spent ages. It was more complicated, but it wasn't. So this is the sound of that original track with the Guitar Rig sound. Here we go. I mean, I think that is pretty good, but I have to say, when I put this Lion sound on, the sound of the UAD track, I thought it just sat in the mix. It sounded more natural, actually less toppy, less processed. But see what you think. Here we go. Sort of warmer and more natural sounding, but slight schoolboy error. I just realised when I was editing the video that I forgot to show you the Lion plugin, which is here, and I carefully spent absolutely ages getting the sound by simply loading up the Brown Devil preset, which, as you can see, the three different options. You've got the super lead, super bass, and the brown. The brown's the one that emulates the sound that Eddie got using his Variacs and stuff, and this is the preset that they've created to get his, I'm assuming, Running with the Devil early Van Halen guitar tone. So that's literally all I did. I've plugged my guitar straight into the interface and fired up the Brown Devil preset. Job done. Just out of interest, I think you'd like to hear this. This is what happens if I disable all of the amp sims. This is what my actual guitar sounded like committed to track with no amp. Not quite as impressive, is it? So let's just now, one last thing, just an A-B comparison. I've split up these audio tracks and I'm going to disable alternate bits. So let's start with the Guitar Rig track, and then if you watch the video, you will see, I do this. So the ones in yellow are the ones that you're hearing. So that one in yellow there at the top, that's the Guitar Rig one. So when it starts, you'll get a bar of Guitar Rig, then a bar of UAD line. So here, just a direct A-B. Here we go. If I re-enable the UAD Lion effect, that will probably give you a better A-B. Let's try that again. So there we go. Missed that last one, but it's definitely a warmer sound, the UADFX one. And you know, I got criticisms on the last video saying that people didn't think that these new plugins sat in a mix very well. They sounded good on their own, but I disagree. When I plug that line in and put it on this track, to me it sat much better than the Guitar Rig one, although I like the Guitar Rig sound. And I've demoed up a new song that I'm going to be playing this week with my band, and I used, for a kind of chunky Les Paul rhythm sound, I used the Vox plugin, and it just sat in the mix really nicely. And I used this Lion one for the solo actually, and it sounded great. So I disagree with whoever put that comment on my previous videos. I think these do work well in the mix. I'm really knocked out by how good they are, and I'm annoyed with myself for not doing a very good video on them last time, but I will continue to do some videos on these and redo the one on the Dream and the Ruby. So anyway, back to the studio, I think. Well, there we are. I hope that was useful and that makes sense. You can see what I've done and how impressive this is, that just using the presets, I haven't had to do anything else. It just sits in the mix and sounds fantastic. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and the recycled content, although it's not recycled. I've added new stuff to it, haven't I? So why not use what I did before? I bring out new videos 7 PM UK time every Friday, so I hope to see you next week.